pawn, c4.
Okay, and there we can see the players sort of adjusting the pieces. Everything is building up to this moment. Nodirbek Abdusattorov needs to win if he wants to take the match to further time breaks. And then we do see him opening with the queen's pawn.
Knight f3 is such a,
e6.
such an annoying move to see.
Okay.
Or check, so which is known as Bogo Indian, right? But after bishop d2, you do not trade, but go to e7, knight c3, and castles short. You pretty much allow white to go e4.
Well, then the play gets very complicated, and surely that is what Abdusattorov wants, because after e4, d5, then we have one of the sharpest lines. And, well, Yakubbaev says, absolutely, game on.
I'll take your challenge. e4 is there.
Yeah, but that's what you do, I think, when you're in a must-win situation. You should not ignore the most principal moves. Because that's very kind of harmful mindset. So you say, okay, this is dangerous, I'll play something safer, and you end up in a worse position, like with no chances, strangely. And so I totally support going e4, and then what would you think to be?
CD, and
well, you have a choice. You can push forward.
Yeah, like you go e5 immediately or take first. Yeah, okay, he's gone e5, knight e4, then he captures on d5. Knight takes d2 was played.
CD5 and d5, bishop d3, knight takes d2, yes.
So e takes, bishop d3, knight d2,
queen d2,
queen
knight
d2,
c6.
and knight to c6.
Looking good for white.
Well,
depends. Like,
we still have that imbalance, right? Black this time has the bishop pair, and white does have a fantastic bishop on d3.
d4 is a potential target, and from my experience in Bogo Indian, that f4 would mean that white's center is completely secure. Like with the pawn on f2, it's not as much. So castle short.
Bishop g4.
And the bishop came out to put pressure on the center immediately.
You can pull the bishop back to e2.
Yeah, and he does.
Bishop e2, f6.
Very thematic in his position to play f6.
Right.
And now the question is, how is white going to react? Remember, Yakubbaev just needs a draw to take first place in
That's a weak pawn, So h3, bishop h5. Do you go g4 now? That's exactly something that you would like to avoid, right?
Yeah.
But other than that...
Rook d1 or rook e1?
To e1.
Rook
a1
d1.
to... Oh, d1. D1, yeah. Okay, so saying like...
h8.
Whenever we trade everything, d5 will be hanging.
Yes.
King to h8.
Very
Understandable. Understandable. Question is, can white or should white push the pawn to e6? Because queen d6 now is not that nice because of knight b5, right? So
another
e6,
principal move, rook fe1.
Just centralizing the rooks.
Well, also preparing, at some point.
Right, but also now it's decision time for Abdusattorov. Does he eliminate the tension in the center, trade some pawns, or is he going to...
He's going bishop f7.
Bishop f7.
But now
it means you can just pull the bishop to f1 maybe. And then
or b5.
Or
b5.
Or back to d3.
And it's gone to b5.
Bishop to b5, yeah. Because, one thing you'd like when you're happy with the draw is...
bishop h4 and back to e2. And Abdusattorov has to find another move than bishop f7. He cannot afford repetition.
Bishop h5, bishop e2, right. So if you take on e5, what happens? Just knight e5, right?
And are the clock times correct for Abdusattorov? No, he's down to... he's got a serious time advantage, just having used, 20 minutes on the clock.
2 minutes. 2 minutes on the clock.
20 minutes? Can't be.
Did I say 20 minutes?
20 minutes.
2 minutes.
All right. a6 stops bishop b5, and white has to look for another way.
Maybe a3. I think a3 is a good-looking move.
a3... But what's
the idea?
What's the idea? No, you really want to kind of get rid of this tension here, right?
Is it the time to play g4 now and then bishop f1, bishop g2?
It would change the nature of the game, right?
Exactly, yeah.
And
Queen c2.
Queen c2. After rook e8, you know what's going to happen. Bishop take d3. It's cynical. I know this is by far not the best move in the position, but that's what you do when you only need a draw. Just get rid of any possible danger. And goes back to f6. All right. Can you still...
No, the white king just approaches.
Oh, king f3. So now the king is in the square, right?
Yep.
Bishop e6. And now you can trade on d7. He captures on d3. Still not obvious, but
and
yes.
They shook hands.
And that is it.
That is
it.
With 2 victories, Nodirbek Yakubbaev is the winner of the Qatar Masters Open. And what a sensational result for the Uzbek player. I mean, who could have predicted it? This is one of the strongest opens in the world. Magnus Carlsen is here, Hikaru Nakamura, Anish Giri. But the champion is Nodirbek Yakubbaev. What a performance.
Well done.
Yeah, well done. Very well done for both of them.